Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. A lot of us are upset. A lot of us are frustrated. I get it. You get destroyed by Ohio State, 42-17. A lot of good conversations in the comment section. What does Josh Heupel do from here? You know, two things can be true here. Somebody commented and said, man, what you're saying is right. What you said is accurate. I get it. Where we've come, where we've been, where we are now. We're in a way better spot than when we were when Josh Heupel arrived, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it right now. So man up and own this, that Tennessee got destroyed. They did. I mean, I said that earlier. Sometimes you need a good conversation off the record with a good old pal. Eric Kane called me just a few hours ago on his way home from Columbus, and we talked ball, man. We talked ball for about 30, 40 minutes, and we were both kind of in agreement here. Like what Josh Heupel has done in 4 years has been impressive, right? College football playoff, that was the goal. We met the goal. But then getting destroyed by Ohio State in the first round of the college football playoff just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Now, where do we go from here? Josh Heupel's got to go right back to work. What does he do? Does he make some changes with his coaching staff? I think it's fair to question Glenn Ellerbe. I think it's fair to question Coach Pope. I think it's fair to question some of the pieces of this coaching staff. So Josh Heupel has to make those decisions and make things right. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Kelsey Pope? What are your thoughts on Glenn Ellerbe? I know a lot of you all are frustrated with Tim Banks, but I think when you look at the year as a whole, Tim Banks did a pretty dang good job improving this defense from when he arrived at Tennessee. But I do think it's fair to say that some changes need to be made. Now, where else does changes need to be made? I think something that we saw on the field of play last night against Ohio State is the talent gap. There was a huge talent gap that became very evident between Ohio State and Tennessee. We knew all week long, we talked about it all week long, that Ohio State is a good football team. They've got a lot of talent. We found out just how much more talent they had last night in Columbus, Ohio. So how do you fix that? You got to be better in high school recruiting. You've also got to be better in the transfer portal. You got to go get some elite talent. We look at who Tennessee has targeted thus far in the portal, right? They've been heavy on the interior offensive line, heavy on the defensive line. They did reach out to the South Alabama running back, Fluff Bothwell. VolQuest put out last week that Tennessee is going to continue to evaluate wide receivers, continue to evaluate running backs, but no visits scheduled to this point, and I get it. You had a college football playoff game to prepare for. You had Wendell Moy Jr., according to AP, that's how you pronounce it, the interior offensive lineman from Arizona, commit to Tennessee via the portal. You had a couple of defensive linemen take visits. You had another interior offensive lineman take a visit last week. You've lost some guys. Who are we going to lose next? That was part of the conversation that I had with Kaner. Look, some of these guys, some of these starters on this football team wanted to go win a national championship. That was the goal, right? We saw guys that weren't really contributors, guys like Bison Lang, guys like Khalifa Keith, Chaz Nimrod, Nathan Laycock, Nate Spillman. The guys that entered the portal, a couple of those guys were contributors. Jalen Smith was a contributor. But those guys wanted to go do what was best for them. Meanwhile, the starters on this football team wanted to go win a national championship. Now, that is off the table. That's gone. The season is done. So conversations are going to be had. Are there any starters on this football team that will look to go to the transfer portal? Interesting rumor. It's transfer portal season, transfer portal chaos. We're going to take a look at it here in just a second. But as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up below the video. Quick, free, easy. It does help this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts or insiders. We're not media. We're not reporters. We're not journalists. That's why we do things like this. We are fans just like you. We speculate. We see an internet rumor, a message board rumor. We're going to come here and talk about it. But if you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click the bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Going live in just a few hours. 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to play EA Sports College Football. We're going to have some cold drinks. We're going to relax. We're going to talk about the game last night. We're going to talk about the season as a whole. We may have some therapy tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you tune in for that. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about the rumors. Somebody tagged me on Twitter and said, Boogie, you may want to go take a look at Squirrel White's Instagram. And if you scroll down, everything Tennessee related has been removed, has been deleted. And then you go take a look at his Instagram story, and we see the thinking man emoji. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean anything? Is this speculation? Of course it's speculation. But why would you go delete all your photographs of the University of Tennessee and put the thinking man emoji in your story? Now we know Squirrel White's been beat up. Squirrel White's been banged up all season. We kept waiting for Squirrel to kind of break out. Kept waiting for him to kind of have that big Jalen Hyatt type season. He's a guy that's played good football at Tennessee. But you look at his numbers this year, just lackluster. 38 catches, 381 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, you look back, you remember that freshman season, 30 catches, 481 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last year, he felt like he was Joe Milton's go-to guy. 67 catches, 803 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really fell off this year. You love the toughness from Squirrel, right? You love the toughness. Injured all season long, but he kept taping it up, putting a Band-Aid on it, trying to go out there and make plays. But again, you look now, the season's over. The college football playoff's over. Your shot at the national championship is over. So there are going to be conversations had. The guys that were starting, the guys that were competing. Is this Squirrel White teasing? Is Squirrel White upset? Is Squirrel White frustrated? And if he does enter the portal, we got a problem. We got a problem. I'm like, oh, there's no reason to panic. We're going to be fine. Are we? Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod, Nathan Laycock, Nate Spillman. You add Squirrel White to that mix. That's 5 wide receivers gone out of the room. Brew McCoy out of eligibility. Dante Thornton out of eligibility. 7 wide receivers gone from that wide receiver room if Squirrel White does enter his name into the transfer portal. Now, we can compare this to the defensive backs last year. Go back to the top of the video. We're talking about coaches that you're questioning. Are you questioning Glenn Ellerby? Are you questioning Kelsey Pope? I think it's fair to question both of those guys because they're kind of in similar boats here. They've not developed anybody. The guys that have come in, the guys that have contributed, the guys that have had success, the Brew McCoys. I think it's fair to question Coach Pope. Are we seeing an overhaul in that wide receiver room? Are we seeing a youth movement in that wide receiver room? Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley. What does Chris Brazzell do? He's still got 2 years of eligibility left. We talk a lot about the article from on3.com, Tennessee being willing to be a big spender. They're going to be a big spender in the transfer portal. Meanwhile, all the targets thus far, a South Alabama running back, Arizona interior offensive lineman, a couple of defensive linemen from Wisconsin and LSU, an offensive lineman from Northwestern. None of that screams big spender to me. Do we have an overhaul of the wide receiver room? Transfer portal is going to be open for another 6 days. I think it closes on the 28th. Does anybody else go in? These other teams in the college football playoff that fall out, does anybody go in that's a fit at Tennessee? But I ask you, you look at this roster. Again, I don't know if Squirrel White's going in the transfer portal. I think that's pretty interesting that you remove everything from your social media that's Tennessee related, and then you put up the thinking man emoji. What are you thinking about, Squirrel? It's going to be a two-way street here, boys. There are going to be players that feel like they've earned more money. There are also going to be players that didn't perform the way you expected to. So Tennessee is going to say, hey, you're getting a different offer. That's college football in 2024. These conversations are going 2 ways. Is there anybody else on this roster? Look at Boo Carter, a guy that made a lot of plays as a true freshman in the star position. Dion out there at Colorado coming in pretty hot and heavy down the stretch for Boo Carter's commitment. Does Boo Carter, and look, I don't know, man. I got no inside source that's feeding me names. Is there anybody else on this roster that looks for money now that their season is over, now that the college football playoff is done? Great conversation with Kaner, man. Great conversation this morning. Talking about the state of this football program, and I get it. It's raw. It's emotional right now. You just got embarrassed. You just got beat down. We're frustrated. We're mad. We're angry. We're eating our own. We're yelling at each other. That's because this fan base is diehard, psychotic, and passionate. We want Tennessee to win. We want Tennessee to take that next step. I can sit here and say I'm happy with 10-2, man. I'm happy with 10-2 in the college football playoff in year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. Kaner just said it on the phone. He said, Boogie, if we had gone back before the season and said that Tennessee was going to go 10-2, they were going to make the college football playoff, but they were going to get bounced in the first round, we would have all signed up for it, every one of us. But then when you get there, when you're in that moment, and you got our coach saying, put the ball down, let's go play, you get fired up. That's what fans do. We want to see this team succeed. But now it's time to take that next step. The first step was rebuilding a damaged, destroyed, buried roster. Josh Heupel did that. Then it was get to the college football playoff. Josh Heupel did that. Now it's time to take the next step, and it starts this offseason. Do you make changes at your position coaches? Do you make changes at offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or is it more about Jimmy's and Joe's? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about a little speculation on Squirrel White. Does he enter the portal or does he not? I think we may see some names come out over the next couple of days that may surprise us. We will continue to keep you guys updated. Be here live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, EA Sports College Football. Smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merchandise. You guys know where. The link's in the description below. There's also a link that you can support this channel. If you like what we do, you like the videos, the content, the live streams, it's easy during football season. We really need your support as we roll into the offseason. Think about hitting that join button. Only $1. We would greatly appreciate it. But if not, smash the thumbs up. It's quick, free, and easy. Jump into the comment section. Let's talk about it because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.